Hi everyone, and welcome to Being Youthful. I am Kim Beegler, the owner of Youthful Fiber Farm and Mill, and if you are new, welcome. I talk a lot about wool, knitting, yarn, hand spinning, farm life here and there. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I so appreciate you all. Either way, whether you're listening or you're watching, if you can, subscribe, comment, like, do all the things so that the apps know you enjoy what I'm doing. And thank you. And I do have a Patreon community as well, so you can jump over there if you like what I'm doing. Okay, so today I have some videos from inside the mill that are amazing fiber. It's amazing that I'm filming this and I'm not spinning the fiber right now because I had so much fun making it. I hope you enjoy watching it being made and maybe enjoy getting some yourself. I'm going to talk a little bit about spinning bats in case you have never spun wool bats before. I know some people kind of start on roving or on, and they don't really know what to do with a bat. So I thought I would just touch on that for a minute. Some works in progress on my knitting. Oh, and I have a quick stop to the flower farm because I went there just like 2 minutes of videos, but they're so pretty that I wanted to share them with you. So I'll talk about that. I think that's kind of what's in this episode. And before I forget, Mill Day is this Saturday. I don't know what the day is, you guys. Maybe it is the 19th of August, I'm going to say, is Mill Day. But I'll be there 10 to 3. And luckily, the heat wave that we are currently having will have broken by then. That's why I'm sitting actually in this new space, is because the mill is unbearable it's just an unbearable place to be. I'm in a very old historic building. It has no air conditioning. It has no insulation. It has not great cross circulation either. So, too much, especially by the afternoon. And, the weather's just been a lot. It's been a lot. So this leads into your farm update. Hope to see lots of you at the mill, and there's some new yarns coming in and lots of fiber and lots of fun and good snacks. Okay, farm update. Leading into this, it is hot and smoky, hot and smoky, hot and smoky. We are in a heat wave here in the Pacific Northwest, and it is brutal. I think right now as I'm filming, it's 102 out, which for us is it's why I left living in Sacramento, honestly. It just was too hot down there, and now it's becoming too hot up here. Oh my goodness. Luckily, it's only a couple days. I end up spending a lot of time running around trying to keep animals cool because they are not used to this for all the reasons. We have loads of shade. We have fresh water for them. We have all the things going. We have a lot of the irrigation going extra to kind of keep everything damp and feeling cooler on the property. Sadly, we still ended up losing a chicken yesterday, most likely a heat stroke. I have a feeling she was laying an egg, and it gets warm where they lay their eggs, and it was probably just too much for her. I think it was about 104, 105 yesterday. No wind. We are completely smoked in from a wildfire that is not very far away. And it's just not great conditions. And chickens do not do well regulating their body temperature. So that was a bummer. And today I've stepped up the game even more. I'm running around with like frozen treats and just throwing water buckets on the ground, which I know sounds awful, but like any place that I can put extra water to keep the chickens especially cool, where they will go to, that's kind of my goal today. But this is it. Hopefully we make it through today. We'll be all right. Wish, in case anybody's worrying, Wish, who lives at the mill, she is boarding. So she is living the life right now. She loves the place she goes. It's air conditioned. And then she has access to her own little outside cat patio. So she can be cool inside, or she can go get some sun in the morning, whatever. So she's doing good and getting skinny. Anyway, that's kind of what's going on the farm, the grass seed farm. All the product is off the ground. Woohoo! And now they just go through and turn all the dirt so that they can replant what needs to be replanted for next year's harvest. So we're through the very, very, very important part. And now the goal is just to get seed into the ground before the rains come. So, which who knows anymore. But okay, farm update. There you go. spinning bats. Let's talk about spinning bats. I have a video of these bats coming. I am making them coming off the carder. Holy cow. Holy cow. So I've been waiting forever to make these bats, and it's because I had to do Fiber Club first. But we'll talk about this. Look at just in this room. By the way, I just painted this room and I'm obsessed with how well it turned out. And then I nicked the wall immediately. And our dog's feet have nicked the walls. Anyway, touch-ups. So here is this, I call it Moody Glam. And I'm gonna go in close and hopefully you'll see, you can see there's little like threads in there, and there's little, so there's some threads. That's actually threads, that's not hair. And there's some little neps in there, or noils as we call them. So that is all on purpose. So this is East Frisian wool. Obviously the purple has been dyed. I dyed it in different reds and blues to get this absolutely, And then the brown is natural East Frisian. East Frisian cross. East Frisian sheep are typically dairy sheep, so they are grown for dairy purposes, but they are a multi-purpose breed, and so they can be meat, obviously. Just about any sheep could be meat. May not always make sense, but, and their wool is very underrated, and I love it. And my shearer, she grows East Frisians, East Frisian crosses, and so I take her wool, and she's very excited that somebody wants this wool. It's absolutely beautiful wool. So I wanted to just talk quickly because a lot of hand spinners have not spun with bats. I think it goes either way. Some people will start on bats if they're doing their own carding, or they will start on roving or top and they have no idea what to do with this beauty. So I just thought I would show you really quick. I roll mine up and I'll show you. I'm going to take off the little tie that's just around it, keeping it in this little bump. Sadly, since I'm opening it up and tearing it, I probably should keep it for myself, right? Okay, so here it is. I am unrolling it. A lot of bats will come this way because, and this one's getting a little bit caught up. Okay, so I'm unrolling it. There you go. And this one I have folded in half. So what I'll do is just kind of find, I'm gonna go from the purple side because I think that's easier. I'll find how it is folded and then just open it up that way. So now it's all opened up. You can just kind of floof it out. And the fun thing about spinning bats is that you could start like at the brown and just spin all the way across, usually stripping down. I'll show you that in a minute. That's how I spin my bats. So you don't have this giant thing of wool. Or you could take off strips and go back and forth, like do a little bit of purple, do a little brown, a little purple, a little brown, whatever your heart desires. That is the fun thing with bats. And you'll see like there's a big chunk and then there's some where it overlaps and then there's lots of this. So you get to design your own yarn out of a bat, whereas a roving is a little bit more difficult to do that. It's the same idea as if you're doing a top braid, which I can talk about in the next episode, where you can break down the top into different colors and play with them however you want. Same thing goes with this. And what I usually do is I will take, and the fiber is going in a certain direction. So just look at it. You'll be able to see when you open up your bat, wherever you get it from, you kind of can see the alignment of the fibers and you want to strip it down in that way. So in this is kind of how you would look at it. And I'm going to strip it down just like this. So I'm just going to take a little chunk from the top here and then just pull down. And then you can start spinning. That's it. So you could pull, you could do like 3 chunks of this purple and then maybe do a brown, 3 chunks of purple, do a brown. You could spin all the purple and then spin all the brown. It's totally up to you. And that's what is really fun about bats. Look at, you can see all the little chunks in there. So I didn't even tell you what those were, did I? So this is silk threads and silk noil. So it's basically the waste product off of silk processing. You get these little noils, you get these little fibers. I got them from somebody that had dyed them up and then I just added them in. Some of this is more of the natural stuff. It just adds texture and makes the bat kind of extra fun to spin, I think. So they are called Moody Glam. They are in the online shop. They are super fun. There's a fair amount of them. I'm gonna say maybe 10 or so, and mill days this weekend. So if you like them, go ahead and jump into the online shop and grab them, and they're gonna be really fun. Oh my gosh, it's motivating me. Look at, and then I've got lavender hanging, so it's just beautiful. And really fun to spin. And that's what, for me, when I spin bats, I don't know why, but it feels super freeing because, and it's really no different than spinning anything else. But for me, I just find it a lot of times when I do bats, I throw extra fun stuff in there, or the fiber itself is just extra fun and playful. And so maybe that's why I'm just like, oh, caution to the wind, have fun. And the bats are in different sizes. Some are 3 ounces. I think there's up to 6 ounce bats. So Moody Lamb, East Frisian, you'll see the picture, you'll get it. Okay, and I do have some video of me making that, and I can't tell you how long I've been waiting. That purple has been dyed up and just like waiting and waiting and waiting because of how I card on the carding machine in colors or when I have to have something done. So anyway, beauty. Let me show you Fiber Club. I have videos on Fiber Club. Spoiler alert, don't watch the videos and look away for a few minutes if you don't want to see. But I'm dying. D-Y-E-I-N-G. I did a lot of dyeing apparently. Are you guys ready for this? Look at this. And it's gonna be a little off kilter because the room is so green, but it's a little bit more of a minty green than this. I actually called it mint chip, I think. So it is side by side. This is East Frisian also. So the brown is natural colored East Frisian wool. And then obviously I dyed this in the wool in different shades of like this blue, green, tealy color. I can't. It's so pretty. And I did also card up some of the brown. I had some leftover of this East Frisian brown between the 2 batches that I did. And I just threw some noils and some threads in there. And if I remember, there's not very much. I'm going to say maybe there's 8 ounces of it. I'll find out when I go to do the listing. It would be fun also to ply with this. Like if you are overwhelmed by the bar. So this is going to have a barber pole effect. And let me show you what I mean by barber pole. So as I go to spin this, we're just putting the twist in it. Let me get a good chunk of it here. So it's going to be like that, which I love. I just love it. It's just a fun, fun spin. This fiber is going to spin up beautifully. It's a great fiber for beginners also. So beginners out there, you could definitely use this. The staple length was like 3 inches or so, not too long, not too short. There's a fair amount of this in the online shop. We'll see how long I may take the rest of it and run. But that is in the online shop also under August Fiber Club. Okay, so those are, and I'll have videos coming up that show you the making of. Okay, let's talk about works in progress and then we'll go to some videos. Okay, so I had to show you my update on my faucet because I'm going to tell you, I got this far. So here we go. Let's enjoy this beauty first. Can you, I am in love with the colors. All natural, Romeldale CVM. I'll again put, I think it's bow layers. I'll put it in the show notes again where I got the fiber from. They do also have yarn. I feel like the yarn was not as squishy as this. Like maybe I have been spun a little bit tighter, which will make it not quite as fishy. But in general, Romeldale CVM is a next to skin fine wool. It's right there with a merino. So this is my faucet by Knitting McPurley. The baubles are in. The 3 colors are in. I'm having so much fun. I will tell you that I got this far and I was so proud. Oh my God, look at me. I'm reading the pattern. This is amazing. I'm not making mistakes. Last night, I had to rip out only about 2.5 rows, and it's not like the rows are crazy big yet. I did have to rip out because I didn't read my directions correctly. I'm gonna blame it on the margarita from the other night. But I love it so much. It really is a super fun knit. The pattern is well written. It's great. And so we are, obviously this is the top. We're knitting top down on this. It's short sleeves and I'm very excited. And this is the squishiest, Romeldale is the squishiest, underrated merino, or fine wool out there. So if you can get your hands on some Romeldale, I would recommend it, whether you're spinning or knitting. Okay, other working project which you haven't seen in a while, and I'll be honest, I haven't picked it up in a while because I started the faucet and that was that. But it's almost done. And I don't mind. I don't know. You guys let me know if you care about knitting when it's warm. I really could care less. I mean, maybe I wouldn't be outside when it's 102 knitting on this, but what are you seeing? Of course, it's going to be a little bit lightened by the sun that's now coming inside, but there she is. We are so close, so close. So all I have to do now is the short rows for the neck and the ribbing, and that's it. Wow, it's really moving the light back and forth. That's it. We're done. So I should really finish this up. But of course, I'm like, I'll be able to wear the faucet before I can wear this because this is a very dense, and this is 100% Shetland hand spun, and that's a much better version of the color it actually is. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is the Nurtured by Andrea Mowry. Again, Andrea Mowry, I mean, you can't really go wrong with her patterns, right? She's a wonderful designer and her patterns are well written, well tested, all of that. So there's my Nurtured. I love them both a lot, and they're both hand spun, which means the world to me. And because obviously I made the yarn, right? Those are my projects. I've been spinning up I kind of took a little hot second off of spinning. Not really, but I wasn't spinning a ton because I'm kind of in between things. My kiwi, I have an Ashford kiwi, which I do most of my plying on because I am very lucky and I have multiple wheels. So I tend to spin on my Magic Crafts and then I ply on my kiwi. My poor kiwi, she's my first wheel, amazing wheel. It's like my #1 recommended wheel for beginners to learn to hand spin on. If you can get your hands on one new or used, wonderful. I still use her all the time for plying. She never got stained. We got her unstained and then put her together, and then I started using her and she's just been all over the place. And I said, you know what, it's time. This little girl, she deserves to get stained. So she's taken apart and now I have to stain her. And I'll have a deadline because I want to ply at some point. So luckily I'm on the first bobbin of 2 different spins. So it'll be a little bit, but I've got to get her stained. Once this heat breaks, I'm going to run out there and get her stained because she's ready. I wiped her down. She's ready to go. I'll show you when I get there. Okay, you all, I had to pop in because I realized I forgot to actually talk about the flower farm. So this is Charles Little and Company. I did a little episode from there, I think last summer, maybe 2 summers ago. It's been a while. But I take you inside their barn and I kind of walked around with the camera. I think Bethany's talking for maybe a minute, but they have a large flower farm. They do wholesale flowers. They do you-pick flowers. They have a flower stand and they do dried flowers. And Bethany is always on Instagram showing how to do flower wreaths, dried flower wreaths, and all of these things. And it is absolutely stunning when you walk through their barn, all of the flowers as they are drying. So they harvest them and then hang everything to dry throughout the barn, and it's absolutely spectacular. So if you are interested in dry flowers or learning to make dry flower wreaths, or if you live in the area and want to go, I'll put a link in the show notes. Charles Little and Company. Just an amazing place and owned by wonderful people. So now to the videos. Okay, so here we are at the Carter getting, this is Fiber Club for whatever month it is. I believe it's August. And I just saw the end because I ended up videotaping this backwards, but I want you all to see as I start here, and then I'll take you to the end. But I just saw a glimpse of it, and oh my gosh. I could keep this all to myself. Probably don't need the 10 pounds of it, but so I am basically weighing out, I know how much of the dyed I have. This is East Frisian cross, basically. It's a dairy wool. The sheep are grown for dairy primarily, but their wool, I get this from my shearer. Her wool is spectacular for dairy sheep. So this is the natural colored brown, and I've got this that I dyed in the wool, and I know about how much I want per feed of each color. I could do this at the draw frame, like I could just run all of this color and then I could run all brown, and then I could join them over at my draw frame. The difference is that then there is that little, like when you spin comb top and it sort of splits out, it'll do the same thing if I run it through the draw frame, whereas if I run this through the carder side by side, it comes out as one there's no split in the colors, which I significantly prefer when I'm spinning. So that's how I do it, because I think most people prefer that also. It's a little frustrating when your fiber is splitting, especially in a yarn like this where it's going to be kind of that barber pole effect. So anyway, that's why I do this, but I could do it a different way, and who knows what I'll do next time. So I'm just running these side by side, and then it's carding them up basically side by side, and it's luscious. So let's go ahead and take a peek, and we'll and this fiber just cards up perfectly, it washes perfectly. There's every reason to love this, and I think it spins, it's so fun to spin. So I'll give you this angle here so you can kind of see it going into the carder, and then we'll go take a peek on the other side. Okay, so let's see how lovely this fiber is going to be. Always the fun part. This just never gets old. Never gets old. Oh my gosh. All right, there you all go. So pretty, I love it. I could spin that all day. Look at how fluffy it is. Okay, we'll start again. Take two. This is, I'm doing some glam, I call them glam bats, just because I'm throwing in, oh no, sorry, moody glam, I think is what I call them. So I'm throwing in, I've got the fibers side by side. This is natural colored East Frisian. This is dyed in the wool, obviously. So I do this right before I put it into the carder. I don't put a ton of texture and stuff in there, but I will add some to these bats, which makes it just a little bit extra fun. This is dyed silk noil. And I just kind of lay it out in different spots, and the carder will do the job from there. And the other thing I'm working on with for the first time is, this is silk threads. So the noils and the threads are both waste products from silk processing, right? So these are, and somebody has dyed some of this up, I assume. You can get all different colors of the silk threads. It's kind of like working with wool that wants to felt. You have to really like open in different directions, otherwise you're just gonna get a knot, because it's just like all these tiny little threads of silk. So, and you can of course cut them, because it really doesn't matter. So if you get a big knot, just go in and cut. But I just kind of drape some of it throughout. Again, not like going crazy. A little goes a long way, and then I have some different colors. Let me find another little chunk that's not, and you can just tear it because it's just a waste product. And then I also have some of it, this is a little bit more threads and noils, kind of everything. So, and it's, it came in all different colors. I ordered a couple different colors. So I'm just tossing that on for fun, and it'll just add some texture. I don't know why, but spinning bats is just like a very freeing thing for me. I don't do it very often. I prefer, I guess, to spin roving, but bats are fun, and I try to make them a little extra fun when I'm doing them. So, okay, let's get this bad girl going, and I'll show you the other end as we get it out. Okay, so I think you can kind of see some of it starting to come off here, and basically what I'm going to do is catch it on this Velcro so that it has a spot to sort of guide it through. Pull you back a little bit here. I can't turn the lights on because it's already 80 degrees in the building, so I refuse. And then I'm gonna put this on, and I've got a nice web going. As you can see, it's caught. So I'm actually gonna turn that off for just a sec and pop this in. And this is just to keep the bat from, I mean, this bat is fluffy as all heck anyway. This will just kind of help tamp it down a little bit. And I did heavily condition this. So now we can let it go. And it'll start to do its magic. Get you a little closer. You can see it coming off the web there. And I'll come back in a minute and let you see as it starts to build more and more. But you can see a lot of those little neps and threads and stuff are coming off. And it'll just build and build and build into these big, beautiful bats. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so here we are. Probably have about a pound or so on there right now. Scroll back and you can see it coming off. Get you in a little closer. You should be able to see the web there coming out of the back. Let me try to, I'll take you off. Excuse this. Get you a little closer. See the web coming off the carder there. And then it just, very simple, rotates onto the bat. All right, I will be back in a second when we take this off of the drum. Okay, sorry, they are doing serious construction outside, which kudos to them because it is about 90 degrees and they're laying asphalt. There is a guy out there and then it's very smoky. Oh, it's just bad. Anyway, so I turned the lights on for you all because I looked out the window and I was like, if he can do that, I can certainly turn the lights on for my crew. Okay, so I am going to take the bats off now. So I basically just roll because I'm trying to find that Velcro spot. You can see all, I just love all the little texture in there. It's just gonna be so fun. And I know I'll have talked about how to spin bats in this episode, so I won't talk your ear off, but I'm just going through, and you know, I have to, like anything, make sure that my hands are a good amount apart to get a good break in this. And I will go ahead and then just wrap this around until I get to the next Velcro, which is here, and break again. And they are right outside my door, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay. But they are paving, which is exciting to have the road back. Our road has been closed right by the mill on the side. So, okay, so I am going to take this bat and go weigh it. I'll get this one off, which I just like to get all the fiber that kind of sticks to the Velcro. Try to get all that off too. And then this one's all ready to go because we already took off the other side. Give it a nice, there we go. Voila. Now those are some bats. All right, I will see you all in a minute.
We grow everything. Wow. We are a 45-acre cut flower farm.
Wow. It is so magical.
It is so gorgeous. Usually you can move up here and get a job here. So we've been flipping the racks. This is all freshly hung up. And then the product that's all back over there is going to, like all this lavender is getting pulled down. And that's getting boxed up because that was the first things hung on the rack, the yarrow and the lavender, so all those herbaceous perennials, and then all these hot summer annual, like the cool annuals, and then like the hot summer annuals, and then perennial grasses, so like the casmantium that's super popular. It's so pretty in here. And we tried to grow some really specialty varieties of dried colors that other people don't have. So with
Isn't that crazy?
Staples that people love, like the goldenrod, the Shirley Poppy pods.
We're back. I had to run out. I actually did take a break while we were on video break because Mitch ran home to turn on the irrigation for the animals. And meanwhile, a bug like flew in my eye or something. I don't know what happened out there, but I hope you enjoyed the videos. And I wanted to let you know that I have been blogging over on my blog, beingewethful.com. I will put a link in the show notes and I'll probably put it here so you can see it too. But most recently, I did a little article about spinning bats. I did an article about knitting with both hands that has a really great link to my favorite video on YouTube for learning to knit with Knit Continental if you are a thrower already. So throwing meaning you are right hand dominant and you're throwing the yarn, Continental meaning your left hand and you are basically picking. And I wanted to show you why this is my favorite video. And then you can go to the blog and check it all out. But when I knit with my left hand, the only place my yarn is being tensioned is right there. So my yarn lays over my forefinger. My middle finger holds it in place. I do not have it wrapped anywhere. There's no stopping for tension because as I drop stitches, you are naturally, basically the idea is that the gauge is coming from your needle and not from you manipulating the yarn. So if you are thinking about learning to knit Continental, go to my blog. I have some great reasons to learn, including when you are doing color work, that you can hold both the yarns. One yarn goes in each hand, if I can get my hand, and then you bing, 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 back and forth. There's no stopping to change colors. It's amazing. So, and this great video on how to do this style of Continental knitting, because a lot of people will still wrap and do all sorts of odd tensioning, and you don't have to. It's so scary. It's so weird, but it really does work. So, head over to the blog. And I also did another blog about conditioning wool because I recently posted, I think on Instagram, a video of me conditioning wool post picking before I put it on the carder. And a lot of people were asking, what are you using? Why are you doing that? All the things. So I wrote a blog post that is the what's and how's and when's of using conditioning in your wool. So check that out. Okay. Thank you so much. I think I'm done. Thank you all for watching, for listening, however you are finding this episode. I so appreciate you all. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the like button, comment, because I do love to hear from you. And if you really, really love what I'm doing, head over to my Patreon and maybe become a patron in the community because it's a fun place to be. You get lots of perks. You get these videos without commercials if you're watching on YouTube. And there's live Zooms. There's just a lot of fun things. And it helps contribute to me being able to make all this different content because it does take a lot of time and it takes away from me at the mill working, producing product that would make money. So it just kind of helps to fund it on the other side. If that makes sense, I hope it does. So check me out on Patreon. There's a link in the show notes. Okay, actually you'll go to Patreon to get to the show notes. So thank you so much. I will see you all soon. Stay healthy, be kind to your neighbor, and make so many pretty things until I see you soon.